Hi everybody, it's Maureen Wong with mycasestudies.blogspot.com. Today I'm coming at you with the very first of my quick tips. I was trying to film a video and I had a bunch of quick tips as part of my video, and even though the tips were quick, the video became extremely long. So I thought I'd break out the tips into their own little videos and call them quick tips so that you wouldn't have to watch every single second of me trying to give you a bunch of different tips in one video, and you can pick and choose which ones you might actually be interested in. So this is number one, and it's working with intricate die cuts. So this is the floral heart frame die from Altenew. This is what it looks like. Really beautiful, but really intricate. So the first tip I'm going to talk to you about is before you take your die cut out of the die, turn it over and look at the back. You can see those die edges coming through and they look very dark and clean. You want your lines to look like that before you take your paper out of the die, because if they look like lighter, like more gray, a little lighter gray, or if you see whole white areas where there should be lines, that means that your paper did not cut all the way through. And with intricate dies, sometimes it can be hard to get every single detail to cut cleanly through your cardstock, especially if you're using something a little heavier weight, which I used here. So I had to run my die cut through my machine, I don't know, maybe about 6 times. I did it 2 times to begin with, and then I picked it up and looked at it and saw if there were any areas that weren't particularly cutting, and then I would move it around on my cutting mat to maybe a different area, because my cutting mat's a little wavy, so some areas cut better than others. Or you can take out a brand new cutting mat, but you don't want to do that every single time you're cutting an intricate die. And the other thing is you can use anything as a shim, and it doesn't have to be as big as the whole heart to shim it. I actually used this tiny little piece of leftover from when I cut out this from a piece of cardstock. And if like this area isn't cutting, I would put my shim right over the area that's not cutting and run it through my die cutting machine again. And that will help to give the extra bit of pressure to just that one area so that it can cut through a little easier. You can use a shim that's as big as your whole piece, but if only one part is not cutting through, why bother getting a whole new piece of paper and ruining a whole new piece of paper? So this is just a piece of scrap, and I used that a number of times. You can actually see how it embossed by going through the holes in the die. But I can just throw this away and not feel bad about it, and my die is cut. My die cut is cut really cleanly. So I always check the back of my intricate dies, especially before I take them out of the die, because I want to make sure everything is cut through really well. So my second tip for today working with intricate die cuts is, how do you get this out of the die? Well, you can poke at it with your fingers or a pin. A lot of times these tiny little holes, you use a pin. And I used to do that too. But a long time ago, I actually bought this tool-in-one from Spellbinders, and I didn't exactly know what to do with it back then. And I tried it a number of different ways, and it didn't really like the way it worked until now. I figured out that if you take a piece of microfiber cloth, which this is, I just bought a whole bunch of these off of Amazon, and I use them in my craft room for helping with intricate die cuts and a lot of cleaning. So what you do is you fold up your microfiber cloth so it's got a few layers and it's a little bit softer, and then you put your die with the paper down, and then you get your tool-in-one and you just roll it over the die and hold down the die. You don't want it moving around because you may bend your paper, but you're just going to run the tool all over the entire die cut like this, and I'm just turning the whole cloth to make sure I'm getting into every little hole. And then once I think I got to them all, I'm going to lift up my die very carefully, because you're going to see that all the innards come out on the microfiber cloth. And if they don't all come out, like there's one little one there, I can then get a pin and push that through. But it's a lot faster than pushing through every single little piece that needs to come out here. Or if I have a bunch of them still left, I can just put it back down on another part of my cloth. You want to use a clean piece of cloth. Like if I try to put it down there, there's not much cloth to grab onto the paper, so I want to use a cleaner side of my microfiber cloth and then do this again. And then you'll see that all those extra little pieces come out. And the reason why I say you want to lift up the die carefully is because some of these pieces also might want to come out, the actual die cut, because of course there are holes on the front to poke out the actual die cut itself and not the waste portions. So part of your die cut might want to stick to your microfiber cloth. That's what makes this so great. It's kind of like sticky for the paper. But it will want to stick to your die cut a little bit, so be careful when you're lifting that up and kind of, you know, fiddle around with it if you do see that the paper is coming out of the die and sticking to the cloth. So those are my quick tips for today. I guess I should have said it was 2 quick tips, but those are my quick tips for today. And as I think of more tips, I'll be sure to share them with you as quick tips so that you don't have to watch my full videos to get these little gems of wisdom or whatever you want to call it. So anyway, I have links on my blog for these products, and they are affiliate links, and if you would click on them, it doesn't cost you anything extra to buy the products, but it helps me out a little bit because I get a little cut of what you buy. So I'd really appreciate you clicking on my links if you think that I did a good job and you want to buy the stuff that I use. So anyway, I'll see you next time for some more quick tips or cards or tricks or whatever, and thanks very much for watching. Bye!